Hello, everybody. Welcome to E3 2017. It is day 0, live from the Alienware Mobile Broadcast Studio. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day.
It is. This is great weather. I cannot complain. We have a nice little shade, little breeze coming through.
Yeah, and I like that you sized it perfectly for me. It's 2 inches exactly taller than my head.
This is why the chairs are here. I think if you stand up, you could probably do some damage.
I measured it to verify that I wouldn't hit it, which I thought was pure planning on your part, but now you're telling me it's just coincidence.
Yeah,
I gave you a lot more credit than that.
Pretty much. So thank you guys for tuning in. It is crazy that Frank and I are here again. It's been a year. A lot of stuff has happened in the gaming industry. Like, what do you make sense of? Like, what's going on?
It's pretty crazy. It's definitely surpassed our wildest dreams, that's for sure. I mean, esports is out of control in how it's growing. We got a bunch of great games this past year, too.
Yeah. You know what? In the last year, so we can't say 2016, right? We've got to say from June of 2016 till June of 2017, right? I am so addicted right now to Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I keep hearing about it. I just can't get off Overwatch. I know.
Yeah, Overwatch is good. Overwatch is good.
It's boring. You know, I've been playing it now. It's over a year.
Right.
But I'm addicted, man. It's just easy in, easy out. You know? But I'm a big Tom Clancy fan, so Wildlands is probably next
you got to get
the queue.
We've been playing a lot on stream, and like I've got about 100 hours, which to some people are like, yeah, I did 100 in the first 2 weeks. But for me, 100 hours in one game is a lot.
Took you 3 weeks.
Right, probably. But yeah, so VR last year when we were here, like that was our big story. Oculus was out here big. HTC was out here big. What just happened at Dell World? You want to share with everybody, like around VR and AR and like what's coming next?
Yeah, we had an amazing conversation with Tim Sweeney out at Dell World where we talked about the future of AR and VR, and his perspective is very much aligned with ours as well. I mean, it's going to disrupt almost everything that's out there. And just having a legend like Tim on stage, being able to share that stage with him, but get his insight and how he sees, the opportunities over the next, and it's not like he's talking about 30, 40, 50 years ago. I mean, he sees it over the next single-digit years. It's going to happen over the next 5 years that we're going to see just as much disruption thanks to VR and AR that we've seen in our lives because of the internet and smartphones, for example.
Yep.
And we also had, VR was everywhere. That's a commercially focused event, Dell World.
Right.
And we had everything from the Drone Racing League showing off, they brought a really badass dome, and they were doing drone racing inside the dome with the VR goggles. That was amazing. We did how many VR installations did we have? We probably had like 6 or 7. It was a ton.
Yep.
We had AR there as well. We had Microsoft HoloLens. We had Daiquiri, an AR company, Meta, an AR company, demonstrating their stuff too. They had a really cool BMW there that you put on the HoloLens glasses on, and the whole car just comes alive with information, and it digitizes, and it was a really, really cool demo. But it's awesome to just see this idea that we've been talking about now for a couple years already materializing in such a short amount of time and disrupting all these different parts of the market.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't see all of the press conferences. We've been doing a lot of setup around here. But I did catch the Bethesda. So Doom and Fallout getting VR support. So yeah, VR is, like in the beginning, everybody was like, was it just going to be indies? Is it just going to be like these small kind of tech demos? Now we're starting to really see the big boys and the big games coming on.
Yeah, and it takes a while. I mean, to build these games, the high production AAA games, you don't build that in a year or two sometimes. Right. I mean, some of these games are in the works for 3+ years, So it doesn't surprise me that it's taken a little while for the AAA franchises to catch up. But they're here now. They're coming, you know, and we've seen a lot of firsts occur in VR that these guys are going to pick up and run with and just deliver amazing content.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, guys. So I know a lot of you have tuned in. You've seen little sneaks and whispers and previews about what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm not going to stand in the way of that. We're going to have Frank and a lot of our marketing planners come up and talk to you guys about what's new and what's coming from Alienware.
First thing, before we get there.
Yeah.
First thing, that's a little bit of an announcement we made, I think, last week or the week before, but I just want to get it out there before we get all the new stuff that we haven't announced yet. But for those of you that are thinking about getting an Alienware 15-inch notebook, on June 27th, you'll be able to get it with a 1080 Max-Q GPU. So if you saw NVIDIA's Max-Q announcements at Computex, we're going to put that into the Alienware 15 that you know and love today. And we're going to clock that thing at the highest speeds and frequencies that is allowable in that Max-Q
Nice.
silicon. So you're going to get the best performing 1080 Max-Q you can possibly get in a notebook out of the Alienware 15. So we're pretty excited about that.
Also, all Max-Qs are not created equal.
That's right. They're not. So pay close attention to the benchmarks of the different Max-Qs that are out there. And you're going to get the best from us, that's for sure.
Awesome.
So with that, I think we got a lot of new stuff that we're going to talk about. So
yeah, let's see the first thing that we're going to be talking about.
So we're back, and Leonard, you're looking very different. You're a little taller, a little bit more facial hair, it looks like, or less. Can't tell.
We'll have to measure that later on.
Okay. So those of you that don't know, this is Eddie. Eddie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
So what do you do for us, Eddie?
Oh, man, so many things, but primarily desktop marketing. We've got so many new announcements today, so many things to talk about. As you guys saw, we got some killer news for Area 51. Area 51's been such a great product, such an amazing desktop over the years. We started our business in '96, and we've been shipping desktops for over 20 years now. We've never had so much of a big energy into performance.
Yeah, it's crazy times right now.
It's performance everywhere, right? And that's what we're all about, right? We've got these incredible brand tenets. We stick to performance, our iconic design, quality. And innovation, right? Those are the key things that we put into every single product that we launch. And this is no exception. So it's a great time for the high-end desktop market. It's a great time for enthusiasts, for people who want the best of the best.
So what are some of those Area 51 major milestones that we've had over the years? I probably have a little bit better of a memory of them because I've been there since the beginning. But
yeah.
What are some of the ones that you remember?
Man, so many. I mean, I remember our video array in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That's what led into SLI as we know it today and Crossfire
Absolutely.
today.
We were the first to have a 4 gigahertz overclock on a desktop that we could ship, with confidence, that we could ship to all of our customers.
And that was thanks to us having liquid cooling, which we were the first OEM to start shipping liquid cooling desktops. So this is way back. Some of you weren't even born when we started doing this.
We designed a whole new chassis just to support that. It was awesome. It had
the ALX.
Yeah, it had huge fans at the top. There was exhausting air out, and it was incredible. It was like
so here's a little funny thing for you to. So back then there were no mainstream liquid cooling systems. So we were literally using a fish pump. All right, and a fish, a little mini water tank.
It did it.
And the thing would evaporate, and we'd have to refill it every 6 or so months. It was a pain in the butt. I remember the first time the first one failed on the factory line. We didn't have mops on the manufacturing floor because they weren't sealed like they are. I mean, now the way that we've taken liquid cooling with the help of our partners, it's a completely seamless system, completely sealed. There's no evaporation, there's no maintenance, none of that stuff. But in the old days, it was a complicated system.
Today, our liquid cooling units actually deliver a 50,000 hour lifetime. That's their life cycle. That's a lot. So that's an incredible testament to the quality that we've introduced and put into that, because let's face it, cooling is critical.
Yeah.
If you're running a desktop and you want high-end performance and you want to overclock, you've got to have the right amount of cooling, and we've got incredible cooling solutions. in these new Area 51s.
We recently had to redesign the entire liquid cooling system for something that you're going to talk about a little bit later.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Area 51 is just an incredible desktop. Over the years, I mean, we introduced Alien Effects, our lighting system, into there.
Yeah, that's right.
We were able to customize it. That was incredible. We've done so many things from an upgradability standpoint as well. Even when you get into the Area 51, if you notice that whole door is a huge, huge opening to let anybody work on the system. So it's it's very much for the DIY enthusiast as much as it is for the person who just wants the best of the best, no shenanigans, and just want to have the best experience possible.
Yeah, we see a lot of folks that, came from DIY. Like, all of us grew up DIY as well, and that's our passion. But at some point, it's just, you may not have the time anymore to want to research all the parts, want to deal with sometimes the trouble that comes from getting parts that haven't necessarily all been validated and tested with one another. And yeah, they may follow specs and standards. That doesn't always mean that they work correctly.
That's right.
And when you have time and that's your passion and everything, you may be able to commit that to building the right system and solving and troubleshooting the problems. But a lot of folks come to the Area 51 because they get to a point in their lives where they still want to game, they still want to overclock, they still want all the benefits of doing that, but they don't necessarily have the time or sometimes even the money to be able to invest in building their own rig. So we see a lot of folks that were like DIY dieharders saying they never buy a pre-built machine, coming to Area 51 and being like, well, this is kind of like the closest thing I can get to building my own, but not dealing with any of the headaches of doing so.
Absolutely. And we have so many awesome desktops, too. I mean, we have everything from the Alienware Alpha to the Alienware Aurora and now the Area 51. And there's some changes coming up to the Area 51, which are pretty awesome, which I guess you guys are already figuring out what it is. But again, we've got something for everybody. So whether you're just getting into PC gaming, whether you want to have a VR experience that is exceptional, if you want to get into 4K gaming or higher resolutions, then you can get an Aurora, you can get an Area 51. There's something for everyone. But for people who want the best of the best, that's where Area 51 comes in. For gamers that just want to have the highest amount of performance, the highest amount of upgradability, that's what it's all about. And I'm really excited to announce that we're going to be launching an Area 51 Threadripper edition. And that's based off of AMD's new Ryzen Threadripper chip, which is amazing, phenomenal. It's going to be available in a 16-core version, and that means 32 logical processors. If you could envision that in your task manager, when you open that up, you're going to have 32 little squares checking out what the system's doing at any given time.
That's a picture of its own. That's worth framing by itself.
Absolutely. I mean, back in the day, we had single-core procs. Right. I think I even had an Athlon.
I remember when hyperthreading launched, and you would see two of them on there, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm server class now.
Yeah, and I changed the size of the window to make it. Let's look at it bigger. Let's see how the wave changes. I had an Athlon XP, and I had all kinds of systems along the way, but it's changed a lot. And with Threadripper, that's going to be it's a first for us. We pride ourselves on being a company of firsts, whether it be in our notebook business, in our desktop business. Area 51 is absolutely no exception. And it's going to be the first time we have a 16-core proc on any system. That's going to be an incredible move forward for people who want to do more than just gaming, right? I mean...
Yeah, so what am I going to use 16 cores for?
Man, I mean, what can't you use?
It seems a little bit like overkill, but we've actually put them all to use, haven't we?
We have. And we've got demos here available today. We've got demos at the show floor. It's really about, people who want to go beyond just gaming, people who are definitely gamers, but have hobbies that go even beyond that, maybe into creative areas. So for people who want to megatask, right? Megatasking is a keyword, it's a buzzword. You're going to be hearing a lot about it throughout the show. I'll be talking about it because it's definitely the way to take advantage of this kind of power.
And we've seen that evolve. I mean, look, if you look behind us, right, the entire streaming session that we're doing right now is being powered by Area 51s. Soon, Threadripper Area 51s.
Yeah.
But the more you're broadcasting, the more intensive it gets, the more you're going to tax these cores. I mean, we're doing streams now where we're doing mixed reality out of the studio in Austin, and you're doing that while you're running your broadcast suite and all the overlays and the graphics and all the solutions. Plus, you're interacting with the customer, so you may have 3, 4, 5 monitors set up while you're just managing everything. I see Leonard and Anna and Umar, and I'm just walking into the studio, and my eyes just go crazy because I can't believe how much stuff they're handling and managing. I thought gaming was, oh, I can handle a lot of information at once because I'm a gamer. These guys are at a different level. But as you get into VR streaming, you get into 4K streaming. We've already launched an 8K monitor at Dell, right? You're going to eventually see 8K streaming come in as well.
Yep.
I mean, these systems are getting taxed like crazy. And you could do that in the past with 2, 3, or 4 systems. But now we're able to consolidate that into one rig.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, because some people really need that performance, we're actually going to overclock those procs from factory. So, and we're not just going to overclock one core or a set of cores. All cores will come factory overclocked, which is amazing. So for people who really want that step in performance, who are going to be, you know, gaming while they stream, while they record, while they're rendering something in the background, people who have hobbies beyond just playing the game, you know, if they have, you know, creative hobbies like video editing or photo editing, you're going to have a lot of power on your hands and for a long time to come.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the chip is fast as hell, too.
Yeah.
We've seen the performance numbers, and this isn't incrementalism by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going 5 or 10% faster from prior generation. I mean, the leaps in performance that we're seeing are like 50%, 40%. It's unbelievable. So you're getting the core count, but you're also getting the unbelievable performance. And you're talking about overclocking, and we're going to bring Nick on a little bit later to talk a little bit about how we're making overclocking even easier now with some new software that we're going to be introducing. But how much overclocking headroom do you have thanks to that new liquid cooling system we developed inside the...
So I'm not sure if I could give you the exact amount, but it's over 200
Why not?
watts.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
It's over 200 watts. And I mean, that's what you need. I'll show you guys something special that I have here. This is actually a sample. This is an engineering sample of a Ryzen Threadripper chip. Check out the cold plate. Check out the size of this thing, right? 16 cores. 16 cores. Look at the size of that thing. I wish I had, Mike and chip, relative size.
Need a Coke can for relative size?
Would be good. But you're going to need a hefty cooling unit. And we know that cooling is important. So like Frank mentioned, it's definitely going to be, over 200 watts.
Yeah, so we worked with Asetek, our liquid cooling partner on this platform, on a brand new, grounds-up liquid cooling system just for this processor. This thing is a beast. I mean, it's basically 2 Ryzen 8-core R7s kind of like fused together, and with a ton of overclocking headroom that we put in this thing. The Area 51 ships with a 1.2, 1.5 kilowatt power supply. 1.5 kilowatt power supply.
With modular cables too, so if you want to DIY, get rid of some of those cables, we've got you covered.
So we got the power, we got the thermal. I mean, this thing's just a blast to mess around with because you can really overclock the hell out of it. You can overclock the hell out of it. You can benchmark the hell out, and you can just have a lot of fun with all those cores and really start, the limits of anything you've ever been running into in the past where you may think to yourself, I'm gaming, I don't want to be downloading in the background, or if I'm playing a game, I don't want to be encoding anything in the background. I don't want to have my Plex server hosted on the same system. All those concerns are solved now. You can consolidate multiple PCs in your house to this one badass beast that can do everything for you, which just makes it easier to manage. It makes it easier to maintain, save a bunch of space as well. And you can have a ton of fun.
Actually, speaking of space, so another thing that's new about this next generation of Area 51 is that we will have an M.2 slot. So before we didn't have that. That's going to enable NVMe drives, so your PCIe SSDs, which is something that we haven't had before. We had traditional SSDs, but now we're taking it a step beyond. I know that's something that a lot of Area 51 customers were looking for, and that'll be a part of our motherboard.
And we've had M2s on a lot of other systems for a while, but this is the first major update that we make to the Area 51 in almost 3 years. I think we launched the Area 51 at PAX in, 2014?
Yep, that's right.
So, this is the first major update, and it's a huge update.
Yeah.
So, some things like M2, we're catching up to things that have evolved over the last 3 years. But it's a big improvement, this thing. It's a badass. Yeah, and maybe I'll just guess what some of the questions might be. So it will be on an Alienware engineered and designed motherboard using AMD's latest chipset. So we will have, up to 64 PCIe lanes on that system. And that'll enable you to have, the best of the best from AMD Radeon graphics, NVIDIA GeForce graphics. So you'll be able to support SLI or Crossfire in there. And then if you want to have some other add-on cards, right, if you have some special video capture cards or some special capture cards for
whatever your creative hobby is, you're going to have tons of bandwidth on that system to support so many add-ons.
Yeah, I'm going to put
It's
like
just
a
amazing.
2 terabyte PCI
Yeah, you can.
Express SSD card in there.
All of it. Keep coming. Throw it at us, and we'll support it.
So you got another one too, right? You got an AMD Threadripper Area 51 update, and then it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't stop there. We will also be launching an Area 51 that's going to feature Intel's Core X series processors. So we'll have a 6-core, an 8-core, and a 10-core proc at launch, and that's going to be amazing as well. It'll be the first time we support Optane on Area 51, and that's thanks to the whole architecture that we have in there too.
Why'd you stop at 12 cores?
What's that?
Why'd you stop at 12 cores?
I actually didn't mention 12 core. I mentioned 10, but okay, yeah, there will be a 12 core proc 2. And it'll be very fast.
And we're not going to stop at 12 cores. We'll keep going higher than that. A little bit later on in the year, there'll be an even higher core count coming to that platform as well.
There will. So, again, Area 51 is really for people who want the best of the best. And we're bringing you the best from AMD, and we're bringing you also the best from Intel, too. On the Area 51 side, that's going to be amazing. So I'm hearing the 10-core proc is going to run at about 4.5 gigahertz. Wow. Which is, and that's stock. That's without any overclocks. 4.5 gigahertz. I mean, man,
that's pretty crazy. I think I read an article over the weekend, someone got it up to 7 gigahertz.
What?
Not in an Area 51, and I wouldn't recommend that, guys. But I think they hit like a 7 gigahertz limit or something.
It's amazing. They're really tuning it for people who want, really high-end clock speeds. We'll support XMP memory in there as well. Which will be, could be overclocked too. So that's just a performance machine in and of itself.
I think it's just exciting to see AMD and Intel back at it again, and we're all benefiting from it. I mean, the innovation race is back on. We haven't seen this in over a decade now, and the two of these guys at it. We're going to see some amazing innovation coming from both of them.
It's like a renaissance for the high-end desktop category. It's been a while. Seriously, we launched Area 51 in the Triad chassis. In 2014, October 2014. I can't believe it's been that long. We were in New York that time, and that was awesome. And that chassis is just, amazing. It's incredible.
And a lot of imitations have tried to come since we launched it, but nothing has really come close to what we have.
Really is
It's amazing. That was 3 years ago. We designed it 2 years prior to that, so it's really a 5-year-old design because it takes that long for us to develop cutting-edge stuff like that, and nobody's come close to meeting the ergonomics that we designed into the product, the innovation around being able to access all your media, simply tilting it forward to plug in and unplug all your cables, and just the beauty, the overall beauty, the performance characteristics of it. I mean, we designed it so far back, yet it's completely scalable to these new architectures that are higher wattage, higher core count, higher thermals, and it's scaling to them without a problem.
Right. I mean, we even grew the size of the liquid cooling unit, and we didn't have to change the chassis, right, to support higher-end procs. It's just been amazing. We're still supporting the dual sides, right? We've got a whole section of the chassis that's devoted to storage, which is thermally and mechanically isolated from the rest of the hardware, and that's critical because again, we want to promote airflow, we want to promote performance, and we want to promote ease of upgradability. So those are all key things for the investment people are making into these super high-end desktops. Even on the core side, you've got these graphics brackets that'll protect the GPUs, that'll hold them in place, that'll position them perfectly for the fans to blow that cool air into them. And again, everything's very easy to upgrade and work on. So it's kind of a congrats, man. It's been a masterpiece, I think, in my opinion.
Congrats to you, and to the teams in Miami and in Austin that have been working on this. So and our teams in China, Taiwan, all over the world. Yeah, this has been a big concerted effort, and to our partners Intel and AMD for making it possible as well. This has been a really strong collaboration with all of them.
Yep.
Well, thanks a lot, Eddie.
No, it's been great. Check us out at E3. We'll have some cool demos, and check us out at alienware.com/desktops for more desktop info.
So while we let Eddie go here, we're going to show a quick little video to tease for you what's coming up next.
All right. See you guys. Peace.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have been teasing this now for a couple weeks. We've got some really exciting announcements, and to share them with you, I have Gabriel joining us. Gabriel, what do you do for us, and what are you here to talk about today?
Hey guys, yep, Gabriel. So just like Eddie does with the desktops, I'm in charge of the notebooks, and like you just saw, the peripherals. So that's the new exciting thing that's happening for us. And yes, thanks Frank for stealing my thunder. He licked it a couple weeks ago, and so now I have nothing to announce.
I didn't steal it. I helped build. I like to think of it as building up some of the thunder.
That's true.
I'm sorry if I stole it.
Not a problem. So yeah, I'm super happy to talk about the new peripherals and monitors that we have. So a bit of background myself. I joined the team about 4 years ago, and I feel like ever since I joined, the #1 request from our community is to bring new peripherals. And monitors.
Don't stop there. You've got a hell of a story as to how you joined the team. You didn't just join the team. I mean, why don't you give us a little bit of background as to your history and how you joined the team?
Wow, yeah. So it was.
Don't go way too back. I mean, we don't want anything older than 4 years.
Back in 1982, this little village.
A star was born.
No, yeah. So I was at school 4 years ago trying to find an internship, and I got one crazy internship in Miami with Alienware. So I started my internship to talk about Windows operating system. That was my whole project
and
for the
you stuck
summer.
Around after that. Isn't that amazing?
They just can't get rid of me. I've been on the same team the entire time, and I love it. And so, like I said, ever since then, I would go to events, and all the community members are like, what about new monitors, new peripherals, and things like that. So when finally we decided to bring them back, and that was about a year ago, I was super excited about it. So I want to give a bit of background, if you're okay, like how we actually came to make that decision and how. So every year...
You're not going to talk about me.
I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about you.
Now you're going to get the community upset.
I might overshare a bit, stop me if I do.
Don't hate me after you hear this.
But I want to open the curtains and show you a bit of the behind the scenes and how we do things in Alienware. To me, it was exciting. I loved it. So every year, we actually get the entire team, global team. We fly people from everywhere in the world into Miami. We spend 3, 4, sometimes 5 days to really take our head out of the water and really think about the state of the business and how we can do things better. So a couple of things that came out of this, big meeting is, first of all, the graphics amplifier. Mm-hmm. And another thing that's more relevant to this is the whole community. Oh, wow. Everything's breaking here.
We're still alive.
The whole community engagement initiative. So the reason why we're here today is because we made a decision, 2 years ago?
Yeah, actually 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah,
I was there.
It was Leonard and Umar and a bunch of other folks were very adamant that we had to connect better with our community. And what started off as just us making a commitment to stream on Twitch has turned into everything we're doing now, where we've got the mobile streaming trailer. Where's Leonard? Trailer. We have 2 sites streaming now at E3. We've got a full-time crew. We have guest appearances coming on the stream. We stream 24 hours a week. We have a dedicated studio in Austin. We've moved the studio twice now because they just keep outgrowing it. So yeah, I mean, it's those forums where the team gets together. We have very open and honest conversations around what do we need to do to improve every aspect of the business, whether it be our products, our relationship with our customers, ourselves as well. We have a lot of conversations around employee development, how we need to get better as leaders and as employees of the company. It's a really good session. There's a lot of heavy drinking involved every single night. Most people show up in the mornings. Sometimes they don't. But overall, it's memorable and it's very fun.
It was my phone.
But yeah,
it was my phone.
The graphics amplifier came out of that.
Right.
Our community engagement initiative with Twitch and social media came out of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a good time. I'm looking forward to it again.
It. Same here. But
we could just leave it at that. We don't have to talk about any more.
No. I do want to, but I think it turned to be a good thing. It's we brought this peripheral thing every year, but Frank's like, no, I want the best products. If we can't have the best products, I don't want to, have new products, which is fair.
I'm a pain in the ass. Everybody knows it. And if, it took you guys a long time to put something worthy of the Alienware brand in front of me. Let's put it that way.
That's true. But the way we did it, and it took 500 gamers. We actually went out and talked to, we had a big partnership with Syndicate. We went to a lot of gamers, including Selenity right here. She helped us design all those products. And so we went through every stage of the design. We talked about how we make it, how it feels, the specs that we want on it, the design. And so every step we wanted to have, this insights from all the gamers. And that's why we're able to create all those products that we're going to talk about right now.
So what do you got in store for
all
us?
right.
Let's get to it.
So we're welcoming now 6 new products into our ecosystem family. We have 2 monitors, 2 keyboards, and 2 mice. So let's start with monitors. Right here behind me, I got 4 of these monitors. They're absolutely beautiful. We have 2. They're very similar. The main differences between the 2 is one is FreeSync, the other one is G-Sync. And the G-Sync version right behind me has the AlienFX lighting in the back. These are the main differences between the 2. But then after, they're pretty much the same. They're 25-inch Tn panels, which allows us to go with up to 240 hertz of refresh rate.
So why did we go with Tn instead of IPS? I mean, there's a lot of preference out there for IPS, but you on these guys, we decided to go with Tn. Why is that?
So there's a bit of trade-off. IPS is beautiful. It's great, but the refresh rate is limited. It's hard to go higher than a certain point. Mm-hmm. With Tn, you can go through the roof. And so if you're into fast games like first-person shooter or
especially competitive games. I mean,
exactly.
most of our esports athletes out there are opting to go with 240 hertz panels, and they want either G-Sync or FreeSync because the responsiveness and the image quality in the sense of not having the tears and the textures and everything, and the system being able to keep up with the frame rate of the machine is critical to their performance, and a lot more so than maybe a little bit better color gamut or wide viewing angle that you can get with IPS. But
I mean, it makes a difference between hitting the target or not. Yeah. So it's that's why we went with such a high refresh rate, and so very few monitors actually out there are 240 hertz. And so really excited for this. This is the #1 feature that we have there.
So you mentioned AlienFX lighting, but what if I don't have an Alienware computer? Then these guys don't work with me?
Yeah, this is the best news that I have is that it works on all the even non-Alienware computers. What are the monitors, keyboards, and mice with AlienFX? It works on all computers.
So how will I do that on the monitor? Is there software? Or?
There's a software. So there is the OSD also that you can change. Mm-hmm. And for there's OSD for the monitors and also...
So what is OSD?
Sorry, on-screen display.
Okay. So in the menu settings of the monitor, I'll be able to go and change it.
You can change it directly. Yeah. And so later on, we'll be able to actually integrate it with the command center. But right off the box, June 29th, you can purchase it tomorrow. But when you receive it June 29th, you can actually go directly on the on-screen display and change the colors. That's the one thing for AlienFX. The second thing is in-game lighting effects. So if you don't know anything about that, we have now over 130 games.
149. I got the count this morning.
149. Perfect. So all these games are AlienFX enabled. That means that if you get shot, the lights will turn red. If you are in the safe zone, it will be white. Things like that. If you get chased by the cops, it will go blue, red, things like that.
Every game developer can configure it however they'd like. But yeah, I think we have the largest library of games interacting with RGB lighting on a system and an ecosystem now. Something we're really proud of.
Absolutely. And so you'll see on the videos how it works with when you have a game there, you have the keyboard, mouse, and monitor. And now if you have an Alienware computer, everything will react to that game. So that's the big thing for all of them, except for the FreeSync version of the monitor. They will all have AlienFX on it. So another thing that I want to talk about is the Alienware DNA stamp that we have. As you can see there, you recognize the same angles, lines, material, touch. We want to make sure that as we build this ecosystem family, they all look the same. And so when you see your whole gaming station, you have the same style design, but not only just design, but also uncompromised performance. Mm-hmm. So that's what we try to do with those products.
Yeah, and I want to stress that it took us this long to get here. I mean, the last peripherals we launched were in 2009, and they did well. They were the Tactics peripherals. Oh, yeah. They were good, arguably very good. We took it to another level with these peripherals. I mean, these are the best of the best in every category that they play in. The FreeSync monitor, the G-Sync, they have narrow bezels. They have a height adjustable stand, full tilt, full swivel. They're all made out of premium materials. The panels are gorgeous panels. They look absolutely amazing. This is something that is absolutely going to be on par with the best of the best out there, if not better than what they've got. And we did the same thing with the keyboards and the mice, and I'll let you get into those.
Absolutely. So let's switch now to the keyboards. So keyboards, we have two, the advanced keyboard and the pro keyboard. Let's start with the advanced keyboard. This one has, actually they both have mechanical keys. That is the number one question, the number one request for all the gamers. They want mechanical. So there was no arguing about that. We had mechanical, and we went with the brown switch keys. So we felt like that was like the perfect compromise, the best ideal solution for the wider range of gamers, whether you are
well, it's also
a beginner or expert.
It's a good blend of noise to tactile response. I mean, there's other keys out there that are extremely noisy and require a lot more force, but we found them to be really annoying, honestly. And this was the one that, as we evaluated all of them, you guys may not know this, but we have like a team of PhDs that do all this analysis and human factors research for us and surveying. We work with several esports athletes, including our own athletes like Liquid and Dignitas that we've been working with for over 5 years, the 500 gamers that Gabriel's talking about. This isn't like a decision that one person makes in a room and says, this is what we're going to go off and do. I mean, there's an incredible
Even Frank
amount.
can do that.
No, not even me. I'm smarter than that, at least, just to know that I don't know the right answers. But an incredible amount of work goes into every decision we make on every Alienware product. And the keyboards, the mice, the monitors, they were absolutely no different. So we chose the brown switches. We're very happy with our selection. The keyboards are a great blend of being able to type all day on them, and it'll be a comfortable feel and not be ridiculously noisy and not be fatiguing on your hands. And when you're gaming, it's the same keyboard you can use for gaming, and you're going to get all the benefits you want out of even the best gaming keyboards that are out there with this.
And feel free to come to our booth, E3, to try them on. Also, if you want to go to a retail store, they will be available June 15th. So tomorrow they're available for purchase, but then after it will take about a month for you to get it. And but yeah, available retail store June 15th.
So what's the difference between the Pro keyboard and the Advanced keyboard?
Right,
so if they're both mechanical, then what's the difference?
Both mechanical, same keys, and then after on the Pro key, so on the Advanced keyboard, you have 5 macro keys. So there are dedicated keys on the left of the keyboard where you can have macros.
Similar to our notebooks, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And so the Advanced keyboard will have 5. If you go to the Pro, you have 15. So for each key, you have 3 macro functions. And then after that, main difference is after you have media buttons for both, but you also have a volume wheel for the Pro keyboard. You also have more lighting zones, up to 13 for the Pro keyboard. So you have more configurability.
That's a key thing, though. The Advanced keyboard is not backlit.
No.
It's got ambient lighting around it, so you can have alien effects. You can do some really, really cool alien effects, by the way. I mean, this is a new advanced level of alien effects, even more so than you'll find on our notebook keyboards right now. But it's not backlit. The keyboard itself is not backlit. Absolutely. It's got like an ambient lighting effect.
And the alien head button. Yep.
And the alien head, that's right. And then the Pro keyboard.
13 zones.
It's 13 zones, but the effects are kind of endless.
RGB.
They're pretty amazing, what the effects that we're able to offer you with these keyboards. So even though you've got your 13 zones, the effects aren't limited to just those zones.
Right.
So when you see the keyboards in action, you see the demos, you see the out-of-box reviews, you'll see what I mean. But they're fully animated, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and they feel incredible. I mean, I was really impressed at how robust they are. They weigh out when you pick up the box.
It's a steel plate underneath, so it doesn't bend.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing we do on our notebooks. Which we had the steel plate underneath the keyboard to minimize and reduce
We know that
flex.
Gamers get mad and just like throw it. So,
especially Anna Marie. So we had to design it just for her primarily. But yeah, you got a full steel plate. When you pick up that box, I was like, "What the hell is in this thing?" It was pretty impressive.
No, absolutely.
It's well done.
Good. And so let's talk about the mouse now. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned there is a software for the keyboards and mouse called the Alienware Control Center. Same thing available for Alienware and non-Alienware computers.
So you'll be able to go to Command Center. You'll be able to adjust a few settings. Well, I'm saying Command Center. If you're an Alienware customer, soon you'll have some integration in Command Center, so you can change the lighting and a few other functions. But if you want the full macro capability and all the crazy advanced lighting functions, you'll go into a separate software called Control Center. And we did that so that people that don't own Alienware systems, they'll still be able to use all the lighting and the macro functions and all that, all the advanced features of the keyboards and the mice.
All right. So last thing, the mice. We have the advanced mouse and also the Elite mouse. So the advanced one is that the all-purpose gaming kind of mouse. It's great. It's really for the beginner or someone who just want the basic configurations. So it has 9 buttons, all programmable. It has the sensor with up to 5,000 DPI and 3 on-the-fly switch levels if you want to change like while you're like in the action. And so that's very basic, but it's a great mouse with like great material. And if you want to go with something that has more configurations, then you go to the Elite. And then you can change basically everything on it.
Yeah, the Elite's pretty awesome. The Elite has an adjustable palm rest, I guess you would call it. So this thing slides back or slides forward. You can also interchange the right side, or the left side, sorry. And you can interchange the right side, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's kind of like getting 2 or 3 different mice in one option here.
And you can change the weight on this one. So you have 4 5-gram weights that you can change if you want to make it lighter or heavier. And this one on the left, if you change it, it's the buttons. So you can go from 2 buttons to 6 buttons on the side, depending like what kind of game you play. Another thing is this one has surface tunable. So surface tunable is like it will optimize the sensor. And by the way, the sensor is PixArt PMW 3360, which is like top of the line, and it goes up to 12,000 DPI. And so it will optimize everything according to the desk that you use.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool feature. There's also a manual ability for you can surface calibrate manually as well, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really comfortable mouse. I can't get over that. You know, the feel of it, the weight of it, it's very well balanced. It feels very comfortable. I'm coming from being a claw gamer. That's the way I've typically gamed in the past, and the Tactics was more of a kind of claw mouse. So I'm getting used to the palm style now, having to relearn the muscle memory and everything. But it feels great on the pad and on the mouse pad, and I've noticed my accuracy in Overwatch, because that's all I'm playing right now, is actually improving with this thing versus the old Tactics mouse. So it's definitely a superior mouse.
No, it will. Again, you know, everything that all the gamers want, went through a lot of study to get this, so really excited. So that's it. We had those 6 products, really happy to have them. If you want more details, I'm sure we forgot some specs or anything, go on the experience pages on Alienware Arena. Right now they're live, and you'll get all the features and everything, and with all the details you need.
Well, we got to hurry up. The beer just arrived, so
right.
We got to cut this short. So next we've got Nick. He's going to come on here, talk to us a little bit about some of the new software we're going to be introducing for you guys. Please don't be nice to him. This is his first time in front of a stream. He's extremely nervous, so just light him up on chat, guys, all right? All right, Gabriel, thanks for joining us, man, and we'll welcome Nick up here.
See you soon.
So, guys, we're back with Nick. How nervous are you?
I'm doing great, Frank.
Just pretend you're talking to Umar. It's like any other conversation with Umar.
I don't know if that's appropriate for camera.
It's not. It never is. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, just stare into his eyes. That's what everybody else does.
He's mesmerizing.
He is mesmerizing. Absolutely. So, thanks for joining us, Nick.
Of course.
So, what do you got for us today?
So today we want to talk. We talked a little bit about hardware already. So one of the things we want to talk to you about is software. So that's one of the things that differentiates us, I think, is our own unique software that we bring to the table. So we've got 2 things we want to talk to everybody about today. First one we want to talk about is Tobii eye tracking. You may be familiar with Tobii eye tracking software and the tracker that's built into the 17 R4. One of the new things, though, is game analytics that we're launching. So not only now will you be able to track your movements, through the Tobii tracker, but you'll also be able to see your results after you've played your game. And what that's going to do is take your gaming to the next level, really. So there's a bunch of features.
It's like having like a coach almost, kind of
really
observing what you're doing and giving you the feedback of it, so you can. So what do you see? Like what does the analytics give you in terms of data to help you improve your game? What are some of the things you'll see from it?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, as far as gaming goes, right? I mean, you don't have a coach standing over your shoulder telling you what to do.
Some
and
folks do, but most people don't.
Most people don't. Most people don't. But this gives you an opportunity to gather some data from what you've done in-game, learn from that, and make some changes. So a few of the things that the game analytics provides to you is captured media. So during the game, you can record up to a minute of gameplay before you die. So you can go back and review what happened. It also shows you your top key presses, your mouse movements and distance, actions per minute, mini-map usage, and then on top of all that, the eye tracking heat map.
Yeah.
So it's where you were looking.
That's the part that is just, I think revolutionary here is that the ability for the computer to know what you were looking at when you were looking at it, including your mini-map, right? So you can see if you were looking at the right areas at the given time during when the kills were occurring or when your kills were occurring. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what the amount of information you can get. Now, different people will use it in different ways, but I think it's just another tool in your tool set to improve your game by having the Tobii hardware to track your eyes and then having this software layer as well to kind of give you some feedback around where those eyes are looking and where your hands are moving and how many buttons you're pressing when you're pressing them. And this is version 1, right? So, as we get feedback from you folks over time, if there's more type of data that you want to see being fed back to you, then all of that's an opportunity for us to continue to build upon the software capabilities of this.
Yeah, and one of the other cool things, too, is, you may say, well, hey, that's great. I made so many key presses. I looked here, I looked there. Well, how does that help me? Well, the one thing it does is it actually compares all that to the community. So it shows you not only your averages and your gameplay, but it compares it to other people in the community as well. So you can see, was I looking here, was I looking there, what did other people do in this situation? And, you can improve your gameplay based on averages of other people, other users, and other gamers. So, it provides that coaching, if you will, based on what other people are doing as well. So it's really a useful tool, I think. And like you said, the more feedback we get, more improvements we can make, the better the tool will become. Right. So for those of you out there that have the 17 already, you'll be able to download that through Tobii software update, or you can go to Dell.com support and then download it there.
When does it become available?
So right now you can start downloading it through the Tobii update, and then through Dell.com support is towards the end of this month.
I think it's the
end of this month. Yep. So. If you don't see that come through, check Dell.com for the update and, get that latest piece of software installed. And if you don't have a 17 and you'd still like to take advantage of this feature, Tobii offers the 4C tracker in a discrete form. So if you have an Alienware desktop and you want to improve your gaming skills with this type of a software feature,
or an Alienware 15 or an Alienware 13
or 7. Yep. And we don't have that integrated into those machines, so you can purchase the discrete version, add it to your gaming arsenal, and improve your gaming even without having the 17.
Cool.
So, yeah,
what else you got?
That's one of the cool new features
you got more than
coming
that,
out.
I know it.
I got another one. Yeah. So you talked a little bit before to Eddie about overclocking and how we're trying to make that more user friendly for people. Typically overclocking has been more of an advanced user type of an application. With this new overclocking controls tool that we've created, it makes it easier, it makes it more, it simplifies the process. It's safer for people. They won't damage their machines. So, ease of use also means safety, I think. So there's kind of 3 pieces for the new overclocking controls that make it unique. So first one, ease of use. Like we said, the user interface, as you guys will see on the screen, is very straightforward and simple. You've got 2 preset stages that we've already validated that you can choose from. Pick one and run with it. You won't have any issues. If you want to tweak it yourself to get the most out of your machine, like squeeze every drop out, you can switch and create your own profiles, which is another new feature, unique for us. And you can tweak voltages and frequencies, or you can set it to auto mode where you can adjust the frequency. And our lookup table and validation that we have built in will adjust the voltages for you. So that's another key feature of this that makes it easier for people to use. We've also built in multiple layers of safety so that you don't damage your machine in the process of overclocking it, which was always something that people can be worried about. So a few of those layers that we've built in. So one, we've got the 2 stages that you can pick from that have already been validated for you. And then on the profile side, before you actually get to save the profile and use the profile, we run it actually in the background and determine if there's any errors. And if there are errors...
And to be clear, I mean, our whole goal, as Nick is talking about, is we have found that a lot of folks are intimidated by overclocking. So they may buy a Core i7 or now a Core i9, and they've heard about overclocking, but they're either scared it's going to damage your system, or they'll load up a tool, an overclocking tool out there, and there'll be so many switches and knobs and everything that they don't even know where to begin. Right. We're not trying to replace solutions like that. If you're a hardcore tweaker and you're comfortable with that stuff, keep using, Intel's iXTU and other solutions that are out there. Our goal with our solution with OC Tools is to make it easier for you to get comfortable and come into overclocking.
Right.
Hopefully, you'll see the tools are really, really simple. Maybe you'll start off with one of those 2 profiles that Nick was talking about. Once you get a little comfortable there, the machine's running stable. Maybe you'll push it just a little bit more. You get comfortable there. And then you say to yourself, all right, this isn't rocket science. Let me go get a more advanced tool potentially out there and see if I can push it even further. Maybe you want to get into the dials and the knobs and everything around voltages and the more specifics around overclocking. And that's where you'll go and get like a third-party tool. But this is free. It comes with all our Core i7 systems. Now moving forward, it will be coming with our Core i7 systems. We've been shipping it for a while on the Aurora, right?
That's right. Yeah, back in May we launched it on Aurora. So if you had an Aurora desktop R5, you could take advantage of it of the overclocking tool back in May. And then July 6th is actually going to be when we launch it on Cassini 15 and 17, which is the Alienware 15 17s. R3 and R4. So. And
then we'll have it on the Area 51, of course, as well, right?
That's right. Yep.
Cool.
So those are two great new software features that it's a benefit of buying an Alienware machine. Like we said, we got the best hardware. We also want to provide you with the best tools to take your gaming to the next level. Provide you with the best machine ecosystem that you can get today.
Cool.
So we're excited about it. We're excited about it.
You still nervous?
Hey, let's keep going. What else can we talk about? The beer's here, you said. I think that's the next step.
Yeah, so I think we got to call this quits. A beer and pizza's arrived. Well, Nick, thanks a lot, man, for joining us. We're going to welcome Leonard back up, and he's going to close us out here.
Sounds great. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. So what you just saw, guys, is a video of our booth on the show floor, and we've got an incredible week of amazing streaming planned. I've seen the programming guide. I don't want to spoil it because, apparently, according to Gabriel, I've been spoiling things. But it's unbelievable what you guys have planned for this show. And the booth, as you saw, it's pretty awesome. I'm really happy. We've got a new desktop we're launching too on the Dell gaming side. We have a new Inspiron Ryzen desktop that we're launching too that we didn't even talk about today, but that will be on the show floor, and we made the announcement of it today. So really excited about that. But what else do you guys have planned?
Yeah, so I mean, just to pick up real quick on the show floor, everything that we just talked about here. Well, I didn't talk about. I got to sit back and listen.
I love how you delegated this to me, by the way.
How did I get conned? By the way.
Oh, thanks. I got conned in here somehow. It's like, yeah, you and Leonard are going to go up there and launch all the products. And then I look at him. It's like, wait a minute, I'm launching all this stuff. He's not doing anything.
But all the great stuff you heard from the Alienware team will be hands-on and playable. So that means everybody that's coming to E3 and consumers for the very first year ever will be able to come in and check it out and play it and touch it and feel it and ask questions, and all the product experts will be there. Frank will be there. So, just jump in, grab somebody, and start playing and asking away, right? But beyond that, so we're here at our private VIP venue for tonight's party, but I got the word from our PR team that I can send out an invite to some of you guys. So if you're in the LA area and you want to come out here tonight to check out what we're doing in our private VIP party, hit me up on Twitter. Just at me on Twitter. The first 10 people to do it, I will DM you all of the RSVP information.
Make sure you're going to show up. I mean, if you're living in Miami like me, and you're like, I'm going to go RSVP for the party, there's no chance in hell you're going to be here in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So Don't be a douchebag.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. But beyond that, this location is going to be open up to everybody for the rest of the week. So we'll be live streaming here from the mobile broadcast studio. We've got a bunch of influencers coming by. I won't name drop yet. You're going to have to follow us on Twitter to find out, but it's going to be people you want to meet and people you're going to want to tune in to see. So we'll be live streaming here. We'll be live streaming from the show floor. Games like Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, what else? Fortnite, Agents of Mayhem. We've got some great stuff that we're going to be streaming. I get to play some. Umar, Frank's going to be on stream playing. We've got Roxy. We have Salinity from Killer. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, so. They don't usually let me come out and play. I'm usually like in a conference room just, doing briefings the whole time. But when I saw what these guys have planned, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. I want to go to the booth. I want to go to this trailer. Sorry. The mobile broadcast studio.
That's number 2.
I want to go to the broadcast studio and have some fun, and I was able to squeeze that in. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm really excited. You guys have done an amazing job. It's going to be a hell of a week.
Thank you. It is. I'm excited. But you guys that are there, thank you for tuning in. You don't have to go anywhere. We're going to take a quick 15-minute break, and then we're bringing the night's activities to you guys. So we're going to be streaming for about 5 more hours. We've got some great games, some unannounced yet games from Square Enix that we'll be playing tonight. So just hang tight, 15 minutes, go get a drink, refresh, go check out some other streams, but then come back and we're going to jump into it. No delays. Day 0 starts now.
Thanks for joining us, guys.